I'll call the Paulding County Airport Authority meeting order for May 17th, 2017. And we welcome everyone in attendance. Hope everybody's having a good week. Item number 2 is approval of the minutes from April 19th and May 8th. Does that need to be voted separately, or? Yes. Okay, we'll first do the minutes from April 19th, 2017. I hear a motion to accept.
Make a motion to approve.
Do you hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I'd like to ask a question on page 2 of 2, under Roman numeral 13. I was trying to get the connection between the T-hangers and then the water monitoring in wetlands. Is there a typographical there, or is it of any importance? Yeah, under T-hangers, it begins talking about Mr. Ashton making a motion to authorize the AIP grant.
That should not be T-hangers. The title there should be AIP grant approval. That's an error. I missed that. This was the motion to approve our AIP grant from the state for FY17. Had nothing to do with T-hangers.
Okay, I thought it
Good
didn't
catch.
connect. You didn't think I read them.
So we got a motion and a second with a correction. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have the minutes for Paulding County Airport Authority meeting, minutes for May 8th, the special call meeting. Yeah, I hear a motion to adopt.
So moved.
I hear a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 3, approval of the financial statements.
Yeah, you need the one for the bid opening subcommittee.
What?
The minutes for the bid opening subcommittee.
Okay. So we, I thought that's what we just did.
You did the call me, which I've got, skip me as well.
So we have the May 8th committee minutes meeting. I hear a motion to adopt. Is that what you want to do?
Yes. Needs to be somebody from the committee that came over the
So moved. Yeah, Robert can do it.
There's
And then there's only the 3 of y'all
So I'll
who can vote
second
on
it.
this.
I'll second it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
But it's just the 3 of you who are voting on those.
Okay, gotcha. So now we have the approval of the financial statements as stated.
And I need to draw your attention to a needed budget amendment. We had approved at the beginning of the year $60,000 for legal expenses. Unfortunately, due to the appeals, the additional legal actions and so forth, we're going to exceed that probably by $40,000 by the time we get to the end of June. So we've got another 6 weeks. We already have about $20,000 in legal invoices that have come in that are not yet paid. And we're probably going to have about that many more between now and the end of the year. So I'm going to recommend that we increase the budget by $40,000 to a total of $100,000 for legal expenses.
Okay, that'll probably need to be in a separate agenda item there, I would think. Just speaking with Tom about that. So let's vote on the
All right.
approval of the financial statements. I hear a motion to adopt.
Motion to approve the financial statements.
There a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
I did have a couple things that, I could ask our director privately, but maybe the rest of the group can benefit. The fuel flowage fee, Terry, I was wondering the change, 16 and 17 over 15 and 16. Just an estimate if we improved in that area. thought we
Well,
did.
remember that we went through several months where we were not collecting the fuel flowage fee because of the issue about ownership of the fuel farm. And so we got that resolved in December when we resolved the final agreement, the intergovernmental agreement between the IBA and the Paulding County Airport Authority, and that's the point at which we went back to charging for the flowage fee again. So our numbers are going to be down for this year because of that, because for a good part of last year, we did not collect that amount. So we're up on sales, but down on our flowage fee, and that should go up for the next FY. And that'll be reflected in our budget approval that we do next month when we get to that point.
Thank you. One other thing there at the top, the house rental income, what does that represent?
So we own, what's the address, 319? Clark Creek. We own property on 319 Clark Creek that we were required to buy because it's in our protected zone at the end of the runway, but the landowner made the decision to sell their entire property rather than just the affected corner of the property. So we wound up owning a house that is not in the protected zone. Had it been in the protected zone, of course, we would not have been able to rent that out. But the house is on the property where the landowner sold us the entire piece of property that they owned because a corner of the property was affected by our protected area. And so we have rented that house out ever since, and we deposit that rental income into our general account, and that's reflected in our budget every year.
Thank you.
Now, it's not all profit. We had a flooding event 6 weeks ago that's now been resolved. It was an insurance claim, so it wound up costing us about $1,000 of lost rental income to deal with that repair to the flooding that was caused by a pump that went out in their sewage system. So it's good income, but not 100% profit. Just another thing that we have to manage air at the airport.
This makes it more fun, right?
That's right.
What did we ever do about the driveway situation?
We fixed it.
We did get that stuff.
That was done almost a year ago now,
Okay.
and it's holding up good. It was we got a good price and good repair, so it's holding up well.
Next item, I'd like to add would that be the FY 2018 budget amendment?
No, it's FY17.
It's FY 17. So we've got the FY 17.
Did we vote on the finances? I don't think we did. We did not
You
vote
got a
on
motion
it.
and a second.
Well, we did.
We talked about it, but I don't think
We voted on the financial statements. I got Dave and Stacy, but we didn't do the budget if you voted.
Did we vote or did we just motion and second? I got
We
it.
motioned and seconded.
So we need to vote.
No.
That's right, we was at the discussion point, so all in favor say aye.
And we voted again, so we're good.
I lost my place there, sorry.
I did too, sorry.
So we'll add an item is for the 2017 fiscal year budget to increase that amount from $60,000 to $100,000 for additional legal fees, which would be $40,000. Here, motion to accept that.
We got to pay the bills, folks. Somebody needs to make a motion. What do we do if we die for lack of a motion?
Just don't, you don't amend it, you don't amend it, you don't have the money.
So do I pay the bills or not?
You don't have the money, I don't know how you can pay the bills.
I'll have the money when we get the grant from the FY17 AIP. So that's where if you're wondering about where the funds are going to come from, that's where the funds are going to come from, because remember, we're getting reimbursements for projects this year, so that'll be a check that's deposited into the general account, and that will provide the money to get us through the rest of FY17. So we will have the money, we just don't have it today.
I'll make a motion that we increase the legal line item to the budget $40,000, or a total of $100,000.
there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I did the math, and before we added the 40,000 at the, what's on the profit loss statement here, and it was 15% of our budget. So this pushes it up, 25, 28. And we have, to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, we have not spent any money other than defending against lawsuits against the airport.
We have not sued anyone. So every penny of the legal expenses that we have spent, beyond just the routine amount that we spend for conducting these meetings and so forth, has been to defend us from lawsuits from others.
We have a motion and a second.
Stacy said.
Say second. Everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have the airport director's report.
Okay, so I'm going to focus again on the non-aviation events that are going on, because right now that's where the bulk of our income is coming from. We had a wedding this past Saturday. We had the Rudder Resources EMT training yesterday, which was a pretty exciting event for us to host. That's a non-paying event for us, but several of the police units from around the state who have helicopter units come in for a day of training. We had, 50 people, I think, in attendance there. There were, I think I counted 7 helicopters at one point that were on the field where the different units had flown in for that. And that's just a very positive interaction for us to have. We will have another round of the Goldwing trike training on Saturday. Yolanda's been really busy booking things. She's got 3 Sweet 16 parties, 2 graduate parties, 5 tours, and probably several other events all scheduled coming up. So things are busy at the airport. As you know, we just finished wrapping on the final measure, I always get it wrong, our filming we just had. And so...
Last full measure.
Last full measure, thank you. Last full measure. So revenue to the airport is going to be in excess of $10,000 when the check clears the bank on that. So that was a very profitable thing for us to do. And it was an aviation-themed movie, so it was very appropriate for it to be done at the airport. As far as the aviation side of the house, we're flat, we're not down. We still continue to reach out to the aviation community. We continue to get a lot of responses to the effect of, let me know when you get your legal problem solved. We'll be glad to talk. So nothing really has changed, nor do I think it will change until we get past the current status that the cloud that the airport has over it. But we keep the doors open. It's a safe and efficient airport. We do have still a lot of transient traffic that comes in. We've got a large jet that's coming in today. So still a lot going on.
Any questions for Terry? We have closed session to discuss real estate personnel and litigation. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to return back to open session?
Make a motion to return back to session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We have one item to report from closed session and to present.
I'd like to make a motion that we authorize Lee Carter to submit to the Board of County Commissioners Council proposed joint correction action plan.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item Item 6, motion to give the board chairman the authority to sign the construction contract for the terminal area expansion piping project at Thompson Grading in an amount not to exceed $900,000 with initial funding not to exceed $450,000 pending review and approval by attorney. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve?
Do you hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I thought we were going to discuss about that amount, but we're not even sure that that's the right.
Well, let's,
It's just not to exceed.
I met with Thompson Grading, Kevin Bentley a week ago,
Yeah, I
and
see that.
they were working to value engineer the project to, the original bid was approximately $1.9 million, so they're working to try to value engineer the project to get the bid down. But they have, to this date, they have not been able to get down to $900,000. And this certainly is within construction industry standard to vote on a contract with you don't actually have a revised bidding writing, so I mean, we can go ahead and take a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Nay.
No,
Item 7, motion to amend the acceptance of the Georgia DOT AIP grant to accept reimbursement for past projects in an amount not to exceed $700,000. Do I hear a motion? This is you want to explain this?
Okay, so we've already voted to receive our grant this year from the Georgia DOT. And they notified me after I gave them that feedback that they may be able to find some additional funding since we're so late in the state's FY. And so they asked me to get y'all to increase the ceiling on the possibility that they may have some additional funds toward the end of the year. So this doesn't commit them to this amount. It just authorizes us to receive this amount should it become available. And all other aspects of the AIP that we voted on in the last meeting remain unchanged.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any comments or questions? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye. Good job, guys.